Hi, this is Al Ken. Welcome back to my channel. Now, here's a question for you. Did politics play a role in both subway disaster, Marlborough Street and 14th Street Union Square? The answer is yes to both, and I'll explain to you why. Let's go to Marlborough Street. Um, the BRT, or the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company, long before 1918, had an employee that they fired because they claimed the engineer was going too fast and almost hit a supervisor with the train. I'm not sure how true that is, but apparently it came back to bite them because that engineer that they fired became a lawyer, and not long afterwards is the mayor of the city of New York, John Francis Highlander. So around October 31st, 1918, there was a dispute between the engineers and the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company, and that night, John Francis Highlander called the headquarters of the company to announce, probably with a smile on his face, that the engineers of the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company were going on strike around November 1st. So the management got replacement workers, or scabs, as you like to call them. They were operating trains okay, except this one guy named Luciano, who was a dispatcher turned motorman. He was operating okay most of the day. Now, he was supposed to go home and said he was sent to pick up a train at Park Row, Brooklyn. It was supposed to be the Brighton Express. Now, the Brighton Express that's supposed to have been operating was on the Broadway Southern line with the steel cars, the AB units, 67 footers. But because the tunnel wasn't finished between Prospect Park and 4th Avenue, the Brighton Express is running on the elevated section from Park Row, Brooklyn Bridge, Sand Street, over the Fulton line, then what is now the Franklin Avenue Shuttle, and then onto the Brighton line. So unfortunately, the guy was didn't know much about this line, and you could tell he looked like he was a disaster on wheels. Yeah, it looked like he owned the rails, so places, and then when he got to Franklin and Fulton, he's supposed to go on a curve going to the Franklin Avenue Shuttle, but he was going so fast, the switchman, or actually the tower operator, thought it was the City Express, supposed to go all the way to Queens, or the L line, whatever it was. He didn't pull the lever, and he let the train go straight through. Had he gone over that switch, the disaster would have probably happened right there. So, after resetting the train back to its normal right course, people began to realize this guy isn't what he's cracked up to be, and they started to leave the train. At the last stop before they go down the incline, like I think it's Park Place, he pulled out before 3 people tried to get off the train. They jumped off over the gate onto the platform and made it. Now, he blew one more stop. Well, it was today's Botanical Garden, but I think it was Consumer Park or something back then. He blew the station. Next thing you know, it's going too fast over that curve and derailed. And being the cars were made out of wood, unfortunately, 4 of the 5 cars disintegrated. Well, John Francis Highlander was really appalled at what happened, the accident. He tried to, they say, take advantage. This is a good chance for him to get even with the company officials. Well, he was pressuring them before the accident. Some projects were being built, like the Coney Island Yard, the cars, the 60-footers, 7-footers, whatever they were, so on. It was only after he got defeated in an election years later that they got all the stuff they wanted later. But not before then. The mayor was able to open up, I don't know, a last firing silo at the company. He announced the formation of the IND that would take over parts of the IRT and the BNT to put these companies out of business. So, 97 people died for what? We don't know. Politics. But the thing that could have avoided this whole thing had the BRT upgraded the signal system, which they didn't. There was no timers in the system. But you saw after the accident, there's timers all over the place now. Now, let's go to 14th Street Union Square. It's subject to a lot of controversy because saying, the morning was drunk, it was this, it was that. Listen, there's a lot of blame to go on this one. But here's the thing. Taylor law played a role in this accident because of the simple fact the cars were weaker than they should have been. If this was an FRA operation like PATH, Staten Island Railway, or Philadelphia, the cars would have been built to FRA standards, tougher than they need to be to avoid a car from disintegrating in an accident. These IRT cars might as well have been made out of wood because they came apart very easily. And the signal system needed to be upgraded, but because they don't know the Taylor law, they took their time to do these upgrades. So again, it's politics led to the accident. And they got the random drug testing, but unfortunately, for the 5 people that died, I think they did that in vain because unfortunately, all the recommendations by the National Transportation Safety Board were not being followed after this accident. It took another accident in 1995 for the recommendations to be finally made. So the New York City Transit got chastised publicly by the National Transportation Safety Board. Well, I guess the problem was that the departments were fighting each other and not doing what they were supposed to do. So, moral of the lesson is sometimes you gotta get the politics out of the transit system because otherwise you're just not gonna get anything done except more problems and stuff. Okay, this is Al Can saying so long for now, and don't forget your style. Good night.